Live. You're on.
We're on.
Yes, you're on.
We're on. Okay. Welcome to Talk About It Thursday, the happiest hour. It's your girl, Lady D.
Right.
And I am so honored to have with me on the couch today. We have been planning this for months. We've been talking about doing this for a whole year of doing this. The Tiffany Scale, the WRDMTCH, you may recognize Taboo Tuesdays, and Long Live the Arts on Thursdays. But today, she's here with me for Talk About It Thursday. We're gonna give a shout out to our sponsors first. Woo, 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 woo.
Yeah.
Okay, who we got first? Tamia?
Nola.
Me, moi. Nola Baby Flavor Company, your favorite spice line, as I have been promising. It is coming back. It's back. I just haven't been mixing. Juices have been taking over my life right now.
Sit some.
Yeah, so, you need some juices to address your hypertension, your diabetes. You want to detox. You're trying to lose weight. Nola Baby got you on that too. And then also, of course, we'll have the spices. And coming soon will be some salad dressings for the summertime.
The hot sauce I'm still hitting on from last
The
year.
hot sauce, yes, the barbecue, all of that. It's all coming back slowly but surely. It's going to all be coming back. Also, the Coochie Chocolate will be back at some point too, probably during the summer. I don't believe in rushing anything. If I can't do it well, then I won't do it. And so, because things have been so hectic and I was supposed to be partnering with someone else to do a wellness event and they couldn't pull it off, I put it on hold. So,
Yeah, but you got access.
yeah, I do. And so, I'm a planaholic, I'm a perfectionist, and things have to be done, executed. I don't just do, I execute. Yeah. So, we will get it done. Okay, who's next? Tamia?
Yeah.
Tamia's Touch of Care, as Ron says. Touch my back.
That's a whole different way of doing it. It's to get with life, get a massage.
Yeah. Seriously, hit Tamia up, whether it's for personal training or whether it's for massage. Talking about mental wellness and our topic for tonight, like literally massages. Taking that time out to take care of yourself, address those pressure points in your body is vital. So yeah, call Tamia, connect with her, and take care of yourself. And then we have my girl, Tanya Ashley, over at Puff Acid CBD and more on Cavalcade. Come out there, sit on the patio, have a cocktail. She's also offering line dance classes on Tuesdays and Saturdays from 6 o'clock to 7:30. With Marco, it's a lot of fun. I did the Tamia dance 2 weeks ago and I got it right. So Marco is an excellent teacher. He's good at it. Marco, you'll be proud of me. I didn't get tangled up.
Is she doing baseball games too out there?
She probably will be. I'm pretty sure she will be doing baseball season, doing the baseball games, and of course doing football season, the football games, and then she's gonna bring the bike rides are coming back. A couple other events and things are coming back. So just come out there and hang out. But the patio itself is chill.
Right.
The patio is chill, so you want to come out there for the patio. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't put it up, but we also got Marry Us Tiffany and all of that stuff.
yes.
Can you tell us about Marry Us Tiffany and all things Tiffany, the arts advocate, everything?
Okay, so Marriott Tiffany is an affirming relationship coach that provides resources for breath work to make sure that you are getting through your process of enjoying the rest of your experience, especially if you're in a relationship. I'm also affirming wedding officiant. So if you are looking to get married and not able to do so in your place of worship, you definitely hit me up and go to any venue you like, especially your home or Barnes and Nobles. I think that's the most fun place I've done a wedding at. I'm the executive director of the Arts Advocate. We advocate the culmination and cultivation of creativity and utilize art therapy for those affected by trauma, grief, autism, and Alzheimer's. So I want everybody to know that your memories matter and the things that you do to develop your cognitive sense and to continue its stimulation is very important. And so whether you're doing Sudoku puzzles or word puzzles or playing chess and memorizing platforms or getting on open mic this month for Mental Health Awareness Month and allowing yourself to experience expression, I want you to understand, like, anywhere that I'm going, you can definitely come. So the Arts Advocate. And then Toiletries for Families. We provide hygiene items to families affected by poverty and disaster. And so it is definitely coming around the time for seasonal hurricane season. And if you'd like to make a donation, you can visit tffserves.org. But of course, just to keep the information flowing, please donate to the Daily Smoke, $TDS, MOK.
Thank you.
That's the website, www.dailysmoke.com.
Yes. And what Uncle Lo said.
Smoke.
What Uncle Lo said. So, totally unscripted conversation tonight. We're going to talk about mental health wellness. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's a topic that has, for me, become very important to talk about in our community because so many of us, and I'm going to say us, are dealing with mental health challenges. Sometimes that we don't even acknowledge because we're too busy in the midst of it dealing with it that we don't even acknowledge. Like, wait, this is anxiety.
Yeah. Or sadness.
This is sadness. But this sadness is lingering.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not normal.
Right.
This is some depressive things going on here. You know, I'm especially concerned about holding the conversation with our men in our community. Even if they're not on camera, even if they're not present, it's a fight to get men to hold this conversation and to address it. But so many of them are dealing with it.
Shout out to Brother Malcolm, y'all. Because he hosts a show with his wife, She's So Cold, every Tuesday. They're the curators of Puff Puff Poetry that we hosted and you've been to. They now have a Puff Puff the mic, and it's an open mic for people in the community to come out and test new things. And last night, he very publicly acknowledged that therapy is actually good. And fellas, it's not about, doing what we do in the den, but more so what happens when you process things differently, right?
Yes.
And I appreciate that, men who have access to ears and you speak life into them. That's important.
Yes. I'm so glad. I wish I had known about that. Keep me posted on things.
May
like that.
16th is the next one.
May 16th, I will be there for that, definitely. Because it's an issue that is so dear to me. I know people who are dealing with PTSD and depression.
I have PTSD and severe anxiety.
I think a lot of times we can be dealing with PTSD and not even recognize it. Because there are ways that we protect ourselves from even acknowledging it. And so you don't even recognize, like you can live with do things for so long that they become so natural to you. You don't even realize that that's a trauma response.
Yes.
I recognized it for myself a few days ago. Actually, it was weird. I never paid attention to it that my mom passed away 19 years ago. And this incident happened, the last time it ever happened was right before she passed. So we're talking 20 years that I have slept with my car keys close to me.
Yo, I used to sleep with them under the pillow. Like, for real. I had a situation, somebody kept taking my car, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that's a trauma response.
Yeah, it is.
That's a trauma response. I never thought about that like, I would keep my car keys close to me.
Like, even here, really.
Because I was afraid that somebody would take my car.
Yeah. And you'd be stranded.
And I'll be stranded. Right. And I have this real, and I always brush like, well, no, I just don't want to take a chance on somebody having an accident or something. They're not covered on my insurance and this, that, and the other. And the other day, I let somebody borrow my car. It was late. I said, they need to make a run errand. I said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And then I woke up and they weren't back. And instantly, I didn't really get worried. Like, my spirit to tell me there was something wrong, but it was very uncomfortable. And I couldn't really think about what that was about. And so when I finally did process it out of my head, because I didn't want to talk about it, I didn't want to feel like I was attacking it. There was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. And I realized what it was, and I was like, that's a trauma response. Like, dang. So for 20 years? Doing this shit for 20 years, like keeping my car keys closed, not wanting to let anybody touch my car keys because I was afraid that they would take my car. Because I had dealt with that from a past relationship, someone that was really, really sick. And I had a couple times when they took my car. Yeah. And so it brought up a lot. So we can be dealing with stuff like that, PTSD, anxiety and not even being wanting to name it, just thinking like I'm just stressed or I'm just feeling I'm just worried.
You know,
But
not
it's
even being able,
anxiety.
like how you said, not even being able to acknowledge it, right?
Yeah.
So like every time somebody's like, "Oh, Tip, you cut your hair," no, it fell out. Like curls shrink up all the time, but I didn't even realize in September when my hair was falling out in chunks. Nothing crossed my mind. Oh, you're stressed. Because physically, I didn't feel stressed, but I did notice I was calling Tamia more consistently. Like I can't do once a month. Like come see me every 2 weeks.
Right.
And definitely it helped the process. But like I don't know if the symptoms of depression or the symptoms of anxiety, because you might not have a consistent exposure to the experience to where you would be documented or diagnosed, but to experience anxiety or excitement where your body is like more tense or your octave is more high, like out of place. There are certain elements that we can acknowledge and identify more easily when we talk about it, right? Like there's a reason why you have a breath of relief when someone leaves. They're not good company,
Right.
and that's why grandma said, be mindful of the company you keep. You ought to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Even if it's just you.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to the energy there.
Yeah.
Like how you feel when you're around certain people. Yeah. I remember, I've talked about this before, when I had what was labeled a panic attack.
Felt like a stroke.
I feel like it was, I was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, is what I felt like it was. But the way my therapist described it, she said that it was a panic attack. It felt like my brain started locking up. That's what it felt like. It felt like I was processing, what was going on, and then all of a sudden, it felt like the gears started just doing this. That's what it felt like. And I had enough left where I could say, no, just get me here. Just get me to that person. But like literally, my brain was shutting down to the point where I was crawling across the floor of my bedroom to get to the shower, to take a shower, to get me to church. Actually, I was trying to get to church, and there was a particular pastor at church I was trying to get to. And for whatever reason, it was a spiritual thing and it was a mental thing where I knew just get me to her and I'll be okay. And I remember my daughter called the pastor of the church who was preaching that day. And she got me on the phone and she was like, Are you sure? Are you sure you need to go to the hospital? I was like, no, I need to get there.
Yeah.
I need to get there and I need to see this person. That's all I could get out. Like I shower, I was dressing like a robot. Like literally, I was concentrating on everything. I had enough left to say, God, please just let me just like I could hear it. Like just do this, just let me do this, just let me do that. Just get me here, just get me there. And I remember walking in and one of the police officers was there, pastor was there. There were just like a couple people that knew what was going on, and everybody so used to be coming in and being lively and all that stuff. So people like, hey, and they were trying to get to me, and the police officer is like moving them out the way, move, and they snatched me into this room because I was like literally like this, as everybody was trying to get to me. Like it was crazy. It was really, really crazy. But she said it was an anxiety attack. To this day, I mean,
Not much of a difference.
Yeah.
See, the breakdown becomes when you can't come back from the panic attack.
Yeah.
That's the breakdown.
Yeah.
So the attack is just like having your spirit arrested, right? You have this moment of like discomfort, and of course you're gonna look around. Where am I at? Who am I around? And what's gonna happen if I say what I feel in real life, right? Because the instant you tell a therapist that you have thought within the last 72 hours, you're thinking about doing something to yourself, you're going to go somewhere.
Oh yeah, you are.
Like, if I'm there,
you go to school.
But in all honesty, like we should really not maybe not today, but we really need to be more communicative about the experience of mental wellness and the pursuit of it, because there are people and facilities in place. They don't have the best reviews. And I know people who have sought support from them. They didn't have the best experience.
Right.
And so it's that. But I'm telling you, like, anybody who's listening to this show, the month of May, if you don't know what it's like to be completely exposed to art therapy, please let me know. Like, I will happily tell you where to go.
Oh,
I'll cover your ticket this month. I'll tell you where you can go and enjoy yourself. If you're in Houston or if it's within reach, I'll make sure I'm in the room just to make you feel safe. But therapists and people in scrubs, period, but especially mental wellness professionals, y'all have got to be burned out because after COVID, I'm pretty convinced that the own, dramas, traumas, and depression that y'all have faced on your own, and then listening constantly to other people, that has to be a lot, right?
Yes.
And so I'm very concerned about your well-being and the maintenance of your self-care too. But this new age process of weeding through new patients and clients, claiming you are applicable for, EAP for corporations or to be a therapist referred by a company, and you're giving a 15-minute consultation on whether or not you can handle what they're presenting you, that's detrimental to them. And so I understand, being cognitive and wanting to make sure that you don't sign up for something else that's going to torment you, but we got to figure out a different way, to develop it because, last night I heard somebody acknowledge that, they attempted suicide. If they would have done that in a therapist's office, they wouldn't have gone home. And I get it. There's a regimen, there's a process for your safety. But in the process of building trust with someone you can talk to, there has to be a more comfortable way, to be honest.
Well, now, what you can do, you develop a safety plan. Like everybody that comes in and says that they thought about suicide, no, you don't call somebody to come put them in the hospital.
Well, they
You
did.
ask them.
Hospital people I know went to.
No, it's not. It's not automatic. You have to take them to the hospital because if I talk to you and you say you had suicidal thoughts, there are other follow-up questions like, did you have a plan?
Okay.
Did you have a means to do it?
Mm-hmm.
What stopped you?
Mm-hmm.
If you can tell me what intervened, then we may be able to work on a safety plan.
How long have you been a professional?
20 years, 21. No, what? No, wait. This is 2023, 22 years.
Do you really think that the therapists that people have access to at the rate they can afford are getting the experience they will get from someone of your stature and experience?
Sometimes not, and I will tell you why sometimes not. Sometimes it's the systems within which we work that stop us from being able to do it. I'm just like, yeah, it's the system. Like sometimes we're just boxed into where you can't.
Right.
You can't. I literally right now, and I won't say what agency I work for, but I work for a very large agency, one that I thought was like it was the one to get to. It was the end all for all, like in social work. This is where you wanted to land. And to be honest with you, the place that everybody in my field of work that strives to land is the place that has taken the joy out of my work.
Let me answer this. Because I know you in a place of worship, because I know you in a place of work, in a place of creativity, and in a place of human. Like I've seen you as a mother, I've seen you as a sister, I've seen you as a friend, as a confidant, like so much freedom, so much respect. When you go to work, are you expecting to get something from them? Or are you in a position to see what you provide these people?
I'm kind of in a position to see what I provide, but a lot of times I'm frustrated that I think sometimes I'm not able to do what I should be able to do. And other times I feel like the way the system is outlined is handicapping.
Yeah.
And it's not doing them any good.
Well, because maybe, conspiracy theorists would say, oh, I'm not going to give you the solution. I'd be out of business.
Right.
That supports that.
Yeah.
But at the same instant, if you have not signed a document admitting that you will never disclose the solution, then you can still help people. And that's why we have Coochie Chocolate. That's why we have the Daily Smoke. That's why we got the Whole People's Podcast, right? Like, because our voices are not silenced. Yeah. You are completely muffled at work. And it's not because your voice does not matter. Mm-hmm. It's because your voice can cause a lot of hardship, right?
Oh, yeah.
And when you want to run a business and maintain your profitability, a lot of times if money is your motive, you're not going to worry about the solution to the problem. But there's so much more value in respect and your integrity, mm-hmm. right? When you're doing what you're supposed to. But as a healer, as a provider of wellness maintenance, mm-hmm. They're definitely not the place to land in the sense of stay, but more so the experience.
Yeah.
And me, that's so great.
Yeah, well, it's all a teaching experience.
Yeah.
Too. There's a purpose. There's purpose in everything.
Right.
You know, and I always sometimes you go through things to learn what not to do. Sometimes I think that these are divine interventions along the way. So you know, to be quite honest about it, as much as I like, it took the joy out of it. I also stop and I thank God for it because I know there's nothing I did that got me there. Really, like
Right.
really. I didn't even really apply for it. I literally got a phone call and said, "Hey, you want to do this? You want to work here?" Okay, you know. But at the same time, being challenged so much with the stress of it and the frustrations of it, I became increasingly aware and committed to wellness because of it. Like, you know, one thing was during COVID. Talking about during COVID. Now, you talk about taking on stuff during COVID. Yes, taking on stuff during COVID. Yes, COVID did wear many mental health professionals out. Not to knock anything that doctors and nurses contributed.
Thank y'all for your service.
Like, thank you for what you did.
Those who actually
But I will say this. Well, let me not say but negates everything. And I would like to point out though that the mental health community, the helping professionals, therapists, social workers, case managers, we were worn the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
so real.
at the rate things are going, we're going to be saying thank you for your service.
Yes.
Yes.
Like you a better.
You keeping them in line. Right there. You
Who
know.
was there before COVID?
That before COVID, and then during COVID, it's like you didn't have a opt out. We didn't have. I know, and
You were the essential worker.
you were essential. Right, I was essential. Yeah, all of a sudden, you know, some of the things. Well, don't have face-to-face visits, and don't do this, and don't do that. But then at the same time,
Maintain.
oh, if a person is saying that they're lonely or they're suicidal or something like that, well, now you need to go check on them. Whatever requires a goddamn face-to-face visit, you know. Like it was just and so that came out of it.
Even with regard to you know, a lot of times we don't, as a community, we don't acknowledge that every single body embodies an experience, right? So like how we talk about, you know, no one's passing you up in traffic, they're getting to their destination. Yeah. In the same instant, if you don't realize that a nurse or a doctor or a practitioner or a therapist or a psychiatrist or psychologist, a care provider can still experience grief and be expected to go to work.
Yes.
And do y'all realize how many days do y'all get for bereavement?
2, 3.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Now you who in the hell processes grief in 2 days?
With documentation.
And that's what your immediate family. Oh, you gotta catch up with your documentation before you go out. And that's just like for your immediate family. But not thinking about when you're called to be intensely immersed in somebody's life, where sometimes you are their support system, and then that person passes.
Yeah.
Dealing with that, you know. During COVID, there was like at one point during COVID, just to show you, like talking about just like really taking care of your mental health, why it became so important to me. During COVID, like my teammates and I, for the team that I work with, we were never allowed to completely just go home. So that at one point we each had to rotate, like being at work one day. So we all picked a day to go to work. Well, my coworker that picked Monday as his office day. Monday became Grim Reaper Day. Because, you know, there would be like one of us would be at the office like each day of the week, but then you had the weekend when nobody was there. And so because we're only there one day a week and we're calling and checking on folks, let's say I checked on you on Monday. You were fine Monday morning. But say later on Monday or Tuesday morning or Wednesday, whatever, you passed away. Nobody else has checked on you since then. And so Monday,
You have all this to do.
so Monday became Grim Reaper Day. Like, because then the other clients would come, the other residents would come and they would say, hey, haven't seen such and such a person since such and such day, or there's a smell coming from this room. And so it's like every Monday, there he was with the property manager and security going in a room and finding dead bodies. Every Monday.
Like I said, anybody who has been a care provider, especially in this field, I'm grateful for your service firsthand. I truly am.
Yeah.
Y'all need to get to a mic. The way that you can talk about your feelings and not deviate from the agreements you signed. Sorry. No pronouns.
Right.
Personify the emotion like the branch of a stick. Like, put your emotions in something tangible away from you and excavate it from the depth of you. That way, you maintain your wellness.
Yeah.
But come, get on the mic.
Yeah.
Come on.
So we were at work one time and we went to the
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
How long did you do that job?
She's still doing
You
it.
still
You're
doing
still
it.
doing it.
Yeah, we just back in the office 4 days a week now, but yeah. 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 Like, my friend asked me, she said, how you guys don't even know these bodies? We just had one Monday.
Well,
You get, and actually, I've had patients, I've had clients that have passed. I haven't walked in on the actual dead body yet, but I had one coworker, I had to tell him one time, I was like, you need to talk to somebody. This is not normal now. The last one that died, what was so messed up, how I knew I was like, man, this is why we got to take care of our own mental health. Like, find something to do to take care of yourself, to tap into life, was that it was like literally, and this don't sound so cold, but this is how, you know, when I told my daughter about it, she goes, y'all just become desensitized to it now. But it was like, we have a meeting at 3 o'clock every week. It's like 3 o'clock meeting. So we get down to 3 o'clock meeting, and someone came in and said, hey, such person came down and said he hasn't seen his friend. Somebody might want to check on him. My clerk goes, no, I just saw him I just saw him, he good. And I said, you sure the body ain't up there stinking? Jokingly. I'm like, you sure the body ain't up there stinking?
oh no.
So sitting there, it's after 3 o'clock, we get off at 4.
Oh no.
So almost time to go. And get back to go, and I said, he came back downstairs.
Oh
again.
no.
Then I see fire truck pull up.
Oh no.
And let's go. Let me pack my shit before we have to write up something. Like packing to go, right? Then the police cars come. And I said, oh. I looked, I realized he hadn't come back to the office yet. Fire truck, police car. God damn. So as I'm walking out the door, I said, he was coming to the door. I said, body was thinking. Well, and so, you know,
Are they overdosing?
we don't know. We don't. Sometimes, yes, I think so. Sometimes that can be it too. But so he comes in. This is how you know you're desensitized. You got to take care of yourself. He comes in and he goes, "Shit, I put my computer up." I write a report when I get home.
Why would you take that home?
And I was like, oh, okay. And I thought, and I knew, you know what I said, this is so not normal. Please do something to take care of yourself. This is not normal to be walking out the door at 4 o'clock and thinking to and the only thing you can think of is, damn, I already put my computer up.
Right.
I didn't report it home.
Right.
Like that. That was the reaction. And so I was telling my daughter, I was like, that's so disturbing that was our reaction in hindsight. And she goes, y'all are desensitized to it. It's happening too much now. It's just a part of it's a part of the day now.
Yep, like you said.
So now it's a part of the
Every
day.
for Mondays.
Right.
Every Monday somebody died.
So yeah, like this was a Wednesday. This person, my coworker, worked from home on Thursday, so he had packed his computer up. He was like, "Damn, my computer." Okay. You know, so that in itself is a sign that, like, but when you start to get desensitized to things in life that should disturb you, that's disturbing. You want to be able to stop and take care of yourself. So I'm very deliberate about my personal wellness.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be very deliberate about that all of the time.
I have a list.
You have a list?
I do, baby. So on my Google Maps, I'm so serious. I have this self-care list, and like I'm so serious. It's important.
Yeah.
It's really important. Like I have, I'll find it, but like Dream Nails on Kirby in West Alabama. I go every 2 weeks because I told y'all for a year now, can't afford not to invest in your self care. So I make sure I see Henry and Maya. I'm grateful for them. And when they go to Vietnam or anywhere else, like the backup ain't bad because their whole staff is nice. But Henry and Maya consistently just pick colors and do what they feel like. They're creative and I'm relaxing. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it's such a care. I literally booked a massage while I was sitting here because it's been a minute and like it's probably been like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
I clearly need it. Mind you, all my discs have slipped from C1 all the way down. Like before I lost my job, I was told that I probably need to have surgery, but I'm going to need pain management. Well, for me, that was a trigger. I completely rejected because I'm not about to blow up to 320 pounds again because of steroids. Like it took a lot to get me back and be able to like get past pain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got a list on my Google where I got Tamia's Touch of Care, I got Dream Nail Spa on Kirby, I have a 210 Fusion with Chef Tay because Chef Tay for like $65 a week will make your food for you. You know, with a light bill or washing nothing, it's good too.
Yeah.
I lost like 15 pounds in the winter.
You have to try to take care of yourself. Me is the morning mile. If you
Yeah.
go on Facebook, you see me posting the morning mile. That's how I get my mind right for the day. That's how and I mean, many days I don't get to the office on time. I'm on time for work as far as I'm concerned because the phone gets turned on at 7:30, so I'm available at 7:30. But I have to do what I have to do for me first. And I will tell you, talking about work, one of the reasons why I really started getting very stern about this is during COVID when all this stuff is happening, and everybody was essential. If you showed up work, you were freaking essential.
Yeah.
So went in the cafeteria at work, and they would send out these emails every time somebody passed away during COVID. Such and such person was a beloved employee. They worked here for such and such year. They did this and that. She leaves to cherish her memory. Blah 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 blah. This is like these emails were coming out.
Same email template. It's just the date.
Yeah, just change the date and the name and stuff like that. So this particular person worked in the cafeteria. She was, I guess, one of the managers of the cafeteria. Now, I get it. She worked in the cafeteria. You want to recognize her when she worked. They put that lady's picture in a frame on a table next to, those warmers that they have, you can grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
Her picture was in a frame next to the hot wings on a table. And I just thought to myself, that's fucked up. Like at the end of the day, I don't care how y'all dress that shit up. That's what a person like comes to for you. That you're gonna be able to say stuff. But next to the damn hot wing warmer,
Was there some flowers there at least?
No.
there was like a frame and a table with some damn like a little cloth that they fluffed up and shit on it with a picture.
Some hot wings.
And the hot wing warmer right next door, like you could like grab some hot wings and an egg roll and pay your respects. Like,
Oh, speaking of egg rolls, shout out to Empire. That's where we were at Erie Empire. What's that place called?
which one?
The one in spring that I came to that Sunday.
No, Euphoria.
Euphoria. Yeah.
Egg roll.
Man.
Yeah,
Seafood
all of the
egg rolls.
seafood egg rolls.
I
But
took a
shrimp
bite
and
when I got in
crawfish.
the car. It was gone at the red light. Like,
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah. They don't, we're gonna go ahead and give them a shout out too, because
Yeah.
it's black owned business. Euphoria Bar and Grill on Alding Westfield off of 1960. The food is really good.
it's worth the drive.
It's worth the drive.
I will drive for a good grub, baby. I promise.
Yeah.
For your on Uber.
Yeah, they're good.
No Uber. No Uber.
No Uber.
No. You better get a Lyft or a favor.
Yeah, something else. Not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they put the damn like picture next to the highway.
That's crazy.
And so, I thought to myself, like, at the end of the day, that's it. They're going to put your
In
picture
this
next
moment,
to the highway.
I'm acknowledging that we don't know the moment that we'll stop doing this, but I'm so grateful to be in the circle with this woman. Like, she feel like greatness. She feel like love and sincerity. And the way we converse, sometimes we get off topic, but it's always with
Yeah,
intention
yeah.
because never, like, we're not apologizing.
Okay.
I'm a part of it.
Okay.
Because it's in the conversations that we allow ourselves to identify how it is to acknowledge something that's not comfortable, like what's not normal.
Yeah.
Now you know damn well if every day you smile at anybody walking by because you're giving them energy, but you can't even smile at yourself in the mirror. Something's not right.
Something's not right.
And so, like with Mary and Tiffany, you know, you'll have access to breath work and mirror time and being open to receive and give, trust, respect, forgiveness, and love because it's necessary.
Yeah.
But at the same instant, if you are dealing with anything or avoiding anything and it has you feeling like you don't want to get off your couch or out your bed, you can't send a side of light. Your body is being weighed down by the gravitational pull of depression, but you can definitely eliminate that feeling just by going outside.
Yes.
Just 5 minutes outside. Hell, do 60 seconds. Go outside on your patio, on your porch, on the lawn, in the driveway. Just get outside and take 6 deep breaths. Just in for 3, out for 7. Take baby steps.
Yeah.
But there is a way for you not to feel like you have to keep honing in on the ways that you feel as if that's the way you'll feel forever.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That's the lie. You don't have to live this experience, this diagnosis. You don't have to keep it in a place that feels uncomfortable, where your breath isn't flowing, right? Pain management does not mean being numb.
No.
It means managing your pain in a
Right.
healthy way.
And I think, you know what? I think that's where, wow, Epiphany, this is where I think so many in the mental health profession are missing the mark. So many, well, some
many.
are. And some systems, this is where systems, as you talked about earlier, this is where they're missing the mark. What you just said, pain management. We're not, instead of numbing people, we're not teaching them how to breathe, how to manage the pain. Not just physical pain, but what about when a person is going through emotional pain?
Yeah.
Like teaching them, how do you manage that pain? How do you sit with that?
You acknowledge it.
Acknowledge it.
I
Like,
acknowledge the presence of disappointment. I acknowledge the presence of pain. I acknowledge the presence of fear. I acknowledge the presence of anger. I acknowledge the presence of nervousness. And in that, you are acknowledging the presence of something that you're not wanting to claim or own or keep. But at the acknowledgement of it, you can let it go.
Yeah.
Right? Too many people get so fixated on how they feel or how an instant made them feel. They let the moment last longer than it existed.
Yes.
And
And
that's
it's because they don't acknowledge it.
Exactly.
Because you're trying to not, you're so busy
wanting to
trying
not,
to
right?
not hurt, not experience it, that you're experiencing it.
Exactly.
Instead of like doing, because your body and your mind will tell you what you need to do.
Instincts.
I had a moment where I was dealing with some heartache that was so deep, like, and it may not need to be that deep for anyone else, but for me it was. It was something. It was very disappointing. It was hurtful, and I remember I was sitting there on the sofa trying to gather myself and trying to keep myself together. And it's like once you acknowledge a little bit of it, you turn the faucet on a little bit,
little floods.
and it started coming just stronger and stronger and stronger. And I remember feeling, I think some of it for me is a spiritual experience too, because I'm a very spiritual person, and because I spend time with God every day, I'm very in tune with God's voice. So that's one thing. If you really want to experience God, don't wait until you're in pain or you're in a crisis or you're not feeling well or something's going on, and then you want to start. No, if you take and spend deliberate time every day, every single day, spend deliberate time, you'll hear from him in the small moments, right? And so I remember I'm sitting there, and the faucet started, the waterworks start, and I thought I needed to pray. So I get down and I'm like kneeling beside the sofa. I don't think that lasted maybe 30 seconds. Then I was kind of like sitting, and I felt this need to just lay out
On your face or your back?
on my, just like flat on my face, just like this.
Supplication.
Just straight out, just like that, and just lay out. And really, when I did that, I didn't feel the strong need to cry anymore. It was short because I was done. But that was like that. Exactly. That was the submitting. That was the saying, I give. Then it turned how this hurts. I give. I'm giving this to you fully. And can I tell you something? God responded less than 24 hours later. That issue responded like out of the blue. I was like, what? Wow. But it was in the moment I gave.
Yeah,
So I will say that I believe
because
that,
you were then open to
and so definitely, so, when I do the whole wellness, folks and wellness talks, and I talk about the whole wellness wheel and how everything is connected, there is definitely a partnership that happens with spiritual wellness and mental wellness anymore. Definitely a partnership that happens between the two.
it's the trilogy
Yes.
of
Yes.
our existence.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely so. Definitely so. A whole lot of where we are mentally has a lot to do with how we manage our emotions.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of how we are managing our emotions is a condition of the spirit. It's a condition of the spirit.
I feel like a lot of times I get more frustrated when I can hear the sheeple talk about, the term of the week, like gaslight, right? And I mean, like, I get it. There's always a word for what people do, but at the same time, if we would all be in agreement with the four agreements, right? You be impeccable with your word. You never assume. You personalize nothing. You always do your best. I'm great, thank you. These things will separate you from internalizing the things that you experience, right? Like my friend Ayel, she said that her auntie told her, observe, don't absorb.
Mm-hmm.
And as an empath, that's a rule.
Mm-hmm.
You can observe, you can be present, you can exhale, but to completely ingest things that aren't even for you, like page one of Rick Warren's Purpose-Driven Life. It's not about you. And when you're serving and you're creating space for people to be comfortable in things, like you're not supposed to take it with you and you feel drained. Like,
Yeah.
clearly you were holding your breath.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly you weren't ingesting it in a way that was healthy. But for those of you who are experiencing things where you feel frustration or you feel agitated or you feel like you're on eggshells, these are not comfortable experiences, but they're definitely not experiences you have to continue experiencing in the same manner.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's really important to understand, like, how do you know you're having a suicidal thoughts? Because it's not always going to be this claim where you explain that you want to no longer be, but sometimes it can be the whisper of maybe you should just turn the wheel to the left a little bit.
That.
Right?
That.
And those whispers, if they have a question mark at the end, that's doubt eating at you, gnawing at your mind. Exhale. And declare that you have access to pull over, take a moment, have a scream, have a cry. But even more like, the pill bottle thing. Like, I remember taking 2 bottles of pills because I got to a point in an experience that I had where I was just like, I'm tired of not knowing if this is the day I upset you enough. And so I took 2 bottles of pills and I went to sleep. And I woke up to somebody telling me it was not my choice when I died. And then I started my same job. And like just the experience of understanding how the mental capacity of somebody who is being subjected to distasteful environments, to say the least, and not having the resources or the wherewithal to know how to get through them is difficult. For me, the mic has saved my life. There is something so healing about expression. There's something so powerful about exhaling what's been trapped within, right? When you get into alignment with your spirit, you might not, everybody doesn't follow Christianity. Mm-hmm. Some people are into EFA, some are into just plain Buddhism or spirituality or their own practice of what they see. And that's completely fine. If you believe it is. But when you get to a place to understand that your throat carries so much power, and when you allow yourself to use it in a way that is effective, then you truly understand what words mean, because spoken word is manifestation. Yeah. And when you utter something, it is brought about. And so for me, I tell people, be mindful of your tongue. Like, watch your mouth. Especially around me, because I affirm. And so if you say it, I believe you. My naivety at 39 years old is frustrating for so many people. But in the same essence of the power of the tongue, I believe the word, and I go where the word is. And so when we speak life over ourselves, of course, as an intercessor, I'm going to edit you and you might be offended, but it's only because you personalized it. All I do is to serve and create and be well. Yes. Yes.
Has the frequency of suicide in the young black male population decreased since the LGBTQ community has been more accepted?
I don't think so, only because of the reasoning. And I say that because for one, I'm not a black male, but I do know a lot. And the ones that I know in the community of LGBTQI plus, um, depending on their mental state, their exposure to emotional deficits, as well as their status. Because I was talking to a young man today who was so beautiful. So, Pride is next month, right? But in Houston, we celebrate Pride 365 days a year. Woo-hoo. Ian Haddock is the CEO of the Normal Anomaly, and this is their second annual Black Queer as Fuck Music Festival. This whole shindig, like I think the next 4 days that they're doing something, and then it's also Black Pride this weekend, and so it's the Return to Splash. You know, shout out to Cookie La Cookie Bar and Zip, but basically the person I spoke to this morning, he fell on my spirit. And I was like, you know, you can talk something. I want to call and talk to you, see how you're doing. And he was in a place where he was able to acknowledge that he's in a good place. But he had been in a position where emotionally he was not. You know, he was not okay, and suicide or just not looking forward to waking up the next day had come across his spirit. And knowing that, you know, as a creative, he's able to expound and stretch and move past that moment, it's high. But I would not agree that it's gone down just because of our inclusivity and the diversity of acknowledgement, because you have people who, so monogamy is not for everybody, right? You know, and polygamy is not really overstood by all. And so a lot of times people are put in positions where they're exposing their bodies to things their minds can't embody with grief or with logic. And so when you're physically, you know, feeling a void, you subject yourself to the likelihood of contracting an STD or an STI. And the embarrassment and the shame that people face with that, suicide thoughts heighten, right? And it's not just the LGBTQIA plus community that face these things, it's the community period.
Yeah.
For me, I was just talking, so basically the Normal Anomaly had this big ass event this weekend, and I didn't see it on social media until they sold out, and I was like, damn. But my friend Amber David from St. John's, he said, oh, well, if you go get tested at Age Foundation Houston, you get a free ticket. So I got tested today. And just knowing like the stats, the rates, and the ways in which people are being exposed to herpes, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, HIV, like it's just, and there's even diseases that, you know, people don't talk about, but they are completely plaguing folks, like herpes 1 and 2, and how, you know, it changes the dynamics of how you communicate, how you date, how you share, and the isolation is the problem. So if you're living with an STD or an STI and you have yet to acknowledge the power that you have in acknowledging its presence and not living a diagnosis in a deficit form, you know, there's so much power in that. But no, I can't say that it's gone down. I think if nothing else, I would say it's increased.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, that was a problem. That was one of the things that I came across. They said, like, that, you know, when you look at like standardized suicide, like within like specific groups and populations, you know, young black homosexual men, and I think they were in their 20s, they were the highest at risk
Yeah.
for suicide. And at the time that I was coming across this information, this years ago, we were thinking, oh, because, you know, that behavior, lifestyle, what have you, still isn't fully accepted.
Right.
So you're dealing with a whole lot of stress
Even children
by
are
having to like
experience.
repress how you may really feel or how you may want to be or what have you. You have to repress it now because society as a whole hasn't taken to it as much as what we used to now. That's you know what I mean?
Right.
So that's when I came across that information. That's why I was asking. Like, did that number start coming down because of the cultural factor? You know, like, okay, now we're a different society now.
It might not be as reported, I would say.
Yeah.
Because there's better outlets. Like, okay, so I know Houston. Here in Houston, our LGBTQ plus community has access to resources, incredible resources. But so does our straight community, our teen community, everybody. The plus is you too, right?
Sure,
Right.
sure.
So like the Montrose Center provides free or affordable therapy. They have
It sure do.
treatment, right, for all. The
They
Montrose
sure do.
Center
Big
is
up
in
to
Montrose,
Montrose.
but it's for
Big up.
everybody in this community.
Yes.
You've got the AIDS Foundation Houston, AIDS Healthcare Foundation. They provide resources. AIDS Foundation Houston just got a mobile unit. They not only can come to your event, come to your neighborhood and test you, but if by chance you were to test positive, they can provide treatment on the spot. Like we got access to the things that are needed. It's the fear. It's the fear and the shame. It's stigma.
Shit,
Stigma.
that's the lived it. That's the lived it.
Yeah, stigma.
We lived it.
And what I was gonna say to like the question you asked about the
LGBTQIA plus.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. That community, what I see, what it seems like the numbers have gone up is actually in the heterosexual black men, and I wonder if the stigma of coming across as soft or gay or this, that, and the other,
Or down low.
is what's making so many of them feel fearful of dealing with their emotions and their mental health. And is that why those numbers are going? Like,
Well, you
like what is driving? Like, what is driving?
You divide.
No, not necessarily so.
Not at
You
all.
only got so much room to put stuff in before it comes out. Like that, you only have. There's only so much of that you can express in that negative, that violent way before it becomes self. I've seen it too much.
Right.
I've seen it too much where those who seem like they're violent or they're angry and they're just in pain. Like you know,
And you're saying they're hurt.
They're hurt.
They're sad, they're ashamed, they're afraid.
Yeah.
They're angry because, there's so many people, their first time with a sexual experience, not even complete, full experience, no eye contact, no deep breath, no complete climax, but your sexual experience exposes you to something. And there's anger there, there's hurt there, there's shame there, and man, there's just so you deserve to come. I don't give a shit how you do it. Like you can be safe, you can have fun, but you got all types of sex. You have mental stimulation, cognitive development will help you with that to keep you stimulated and satiated at the same time. You have tantric sex, you have tantric massages. You goofy, but I'm serious. Like
Should catch up, bro. Attention.
tantric is your will,
Yeah.
and just the understanding of sensuality and intimacy.
Yeah.
But suicide and depression and all the things that keep you silenced and isolated,
Yeah.
those individuals I feel are more likely to receive love by touch. Right? And oftentimes when you associate love with touch, then you might get touched to a point that you misconstrue being touched with love. That's not it.
Yeah.
It's just, some people have the capacity mentally to just fuck. And that's quite all right. It's just a matter of your responsibility and your emotional capacity if you're intellectual enough to know you can't fuck everybody because everybody can't handle the intensity of your presence, right? Like some people that they cover up, they fuck in the dark, they close their eyes because they know if you lock in with this shit, you see these eyes change colors, my pupils dilate, you're not gonna be able to handle it as if, like, you know what I mean? Like
And what
everybody
about the person way to sneak up on them?
hello,
And I was yeah.
hello, because they what
That's a whole.
they the one getting fucked.
That's the whole show. That's a whole show in itself.
That's Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, but now what I think is like in a society where we're talking so much about the sexuality and stuff like that. That for men who are literally just going through emotional pain, that are literally just trying to deal with trauma, they don't feel safe talking about trauma. They don't feel safe talking about I'm hurting. They don't feel safe about talking about any of that because now if I talk about that shit, I'm gay.
Yeah.
If I'm not gay, I'm hurt.
Yeah, let's please stop that culture, y'all. Do not call somebody a sissy or call them in their feelings because they're capable of expressing them.
Right.
Being capable of expressing yourself and acknowledging the presence of your frustration, your fear, your anger, what have you. Like, I mean, it ain't too hard to see it. You're tense, your shoulders all up here, you look a little tight.
That's how they translate that you gay instead of being like
Yeah, I mean,
You feel.
yeah, I'm telling you. Let me see if I can find this real quick.
But think about it. There's mothers who be like, what all that crying? What
Oh,
you crying about? Right? Like the same thing. But like we have a series of adults who have been brought up in those environments. So if a grown man is crying, what's wrong with you? Whereas in a softer environment where my perception of it is, I'm so grateful that you can feel this safe to express yourself in such a way in front of me, right?
Yeah.
And we have to acknowledge that presence of emotional strength and balance. But no, not everybody has the capacity because they associate tears with weakness. And if you broke your bearing, soldier, how you gonna lead this army? And that's the argument.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know, like a whole lot of executives, when they get ready to do something called succession planning, who's going to take over the whole company or whatever, and the board is trying to come to a decision. When they start looking at the personality traits and all of that, they outsource that to small companies that I used to work for. And one of the things that they would do is when they would do their 16 PF on them, if they saw that trait, they automatically selected against them.
Yeah. So there's a
They
video.
automatically selected against you. All that empathy and all of that. No, they didn't.
No, and the reason why I said this about the men in particular is that there's this video. I can't remember who sent it to me, but I shared it on my Facebook. But it was this dude that was talking about women wanting a man to show emotion, but then when he does, they can't handle that, and he was putting the shit in check, and it was like, hold on, let me see. I'm gonna have to put this in because I know we right out of time though. We got 5 minutes.
That's when they start taking,
What I got like 5 minutes.
They're so cool.
I'm sorry, but I just want to play this. I just want you. I'm just listen to this, and I think I might close with this shit in because this was deep. Like, hold on.
Don't know how to express themselves. Don't come sitting in front of me. But they don't know how to express himself. Express myself.
Hold on, I gotta play that again because that was so deep. Dude was like,
I'm a pretty emotionally intelligent dude. Notice there's only room for my emotions when they're convenient for the woman that's asking me to be emotionally intelligent. Any emotional labor I do that's not for her convenience or not that she's something she specifically asked for, that either goes unnoticed or when I'm saying something that's not favorable, the shit gets used against me and it becomes about how she feels about what I said. And that I said.
Somebody cry. Somebody cry.
Oh,
This is because saying that, all right, now we got our own money, we want y'all to be emotionally intelligent, that's a great argument. Until it becomes a real life situation and you start to deal with an emotionally intelligent and you realize it ain't been enough of them in your life and you don't know what to do with that type of man.
that's the daddy issue. Right.
Sweetheart, it's dudes that don't know how to express themselves. Don't come sitting in front of me. Express himself. Complaining when I goddamn express myself.
that was like, I was like, well, damn. If you can't say it again, say ouch, So, to answer your question, so I think that for many, in the straight community, the men, black men, I'm concerned about the rate of suicide going up, and I'm wondering if it's because they don't feel like they can express themselves.
And not even that, like, they're calling this recession inflation, right? But when you can't provide for your family and you begin to feel emasculated, and your job got insurance on your ass, and very well you might feel like it's time to go. And God bless your mind for that. I hope and pray that anybody in the sound of our voices on this evening, shift your focus to something different. For me, God comes first. I'm second. I'm not putting it down before me no more because I understand the deficit of those investments. But at the same time, there is so much resource we have access to here on the People's Podcast. If you need something therapeutic, I promise you, hit up the Daily Smoke.
Yeah.
If you need something that is going to help you get to a resource to help you understand how to prevail, how to do something, great. If you need something to do, we got volunteer hours for you.
Yeah.
There are so many ways that you can feel capable, and that's what's vital.
Yeah.
If you've lost your job, I did a month ago, probably like 6 weeks ago. I have decided to stop applying to jobs because with me and my degree and all my applications, those rejections were getting to me a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
And so Monday was the first, and I said, okay, well, this whole month is mine. I went to the local seat with Free.K, got on the mic, had a great time. It was nice. Yesterday I was at 2015 Berry Street with CISO Co Group and Brother Malcolm. Had a great time. It was nice. Got on the mic. It's on YouTube. And tonight I'm on the Daily Smoke with you. Tomorrow I'll be on the mic. Friday I'll be on the mic. Saturday I'll be on the mic. Sunday I'll be on the mic. Why? Because I know how therapeutic it is for me, and at the same time, I know as I get through things, God allows me to articulate things in such a way that helps people because we are all facing grief.
Yeah.
Right? I slept in this hospital 3 times in the past 8 months. I have literally watched things that I know foreshadow is being presented to me. At the same instant, I appreciate every phone call I get. I appreciate every text. Anytime someone acknowledges my presence, I'm grateful. And there is a way for you to be around people who have the intellectual capacity, the emotional depth to get through life in a way that's healthy, because them bottles and the pills ain't doing shit for you, but making it worse, hurting your nerves. And I promise you, if I'm supposed to marry you, I'm not trying to deal with the shit that you did so unfavorably to your body because you weren't taking care of you. Like, you can't afford not to invest in your self-care.
No.
Because I'm making sure, damn sure, I'm investing in mine.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And I will say, if you need to talk, sometimes we need to emotionally and mentally blow that shit out.
Yeah. Exhale.
That's what the
And
daily smoke is
so,
for.
you know, I've been asked, like, how are you on a show called Daily Smoke and you don't smoke? Well, because, you know,
My board is smoking hot. Because she's smoking hot.
yeah, but also because I think, like, I think it's more for me about the exhale.
Yes.
And one thing that I love about this podcast is there's room for everybody to come and exhale. Tonight was an exhale because Tiffany and I just sat here for the past hour.
Yeah.
And we just exhaled.
Yeah.
There was no script. Like, the focus was mental health.
It felt good though.
Wellness, but, you know,
Yeah.
if it wasn't what you thought, welcome to the Daily Smoke.
Yeah.
We did the podcast. So if you have something on your mind that you want to talk about it Thursdays. You know, oftentimes my focus of conversation is some area of wellness, but it's a way for you to exhale to get that out. We're gonna talk about life. But there's enough room on this platform for everyone to come and let's just share our thoughts, we got to talk about this shit because it's killing us. It's killing us mentally, it's killing us emotionally, it's killing us spiritually. Because it's killing us in all those ways, you best believe it is affecting your physical. What you carry here manifests itself in the flesh.
Women,
Yes.
with the uterus, you have got to take care of yourself, because if you subconsciously stress, you risk your ovarian cyst rupturing, causing toxicity in your blood, causing all sorts of health issues. You can have a flare-up of fibroids. You can have an issue of endometriosis. Women, you need to take care of yourself. And I get it, mommy guilt is real, but if mommy's not here, who's going to take care of them kids?
Exactly. Tiffany is always saying you deserve to come. I think she finds herself saying it to women more than men. Men already know they do. So what I will say to the men is you deserve to cry.
Ooh.
That was good. So
He said yeah. And so with that, I know we hit out.
Yeah, over. We're good.
We're a little bit over. This has been the Daily Smoke. This has been Talk About It Thursday with your girl, Lady D. Thank you very much for my partner in life for today. I won't call it crime life, you know. We don't do crime.
We're legal, law-abiding citizens up here.
Most of the time. And even from the sidelines, Ron,
Bobby, we love you, Bobby. We love your mama. Hey, Mama Pierce. Hey, LaDonna. Hey, y'all.
Hey, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
This was fun.